Hello and welcome back to the channel. Did a quick one that time. We're talking songs, 1972 songs in particular. If you haven't checked the albums video out, do that. Not in the mood for small talk. Vanessa. Oh, Chris.
It's my turn.
What did I do?
No. Chris, start.
Not in the mood for small talk, Vanessa. Uh, I'll
No,
kick
it's
us
like, I'm
off.
not in the mood for small talk. Vanessa,
Yeah,
you know.
specifically
Now we're
Vanessa.
just doing small
Yeah,
talk, so it's just defeated the entire point of
you're
the.
small talking with me. You didn't want to small talk with Vanessa. Okay. Anyway, doesn't
I don't
matter.
want to small talk
Listen,
with you either, really.
listen. Here's my honorable mentions. All right. Again, stacked year. Okay. Just a couple quick ones. So these are definitely not ordered. Do not yell at me for these ordered. You can yell at me for the next 10, all right? But these five, here's just some winners. General winners. I'll listen to these any day. First, 2HB by Roxy Music. So yeah, I know. It might not be your favorite on the record, but it's probably mine. So screw it. Next I'm going I Saw the Light by Todd Rundgren. Yeah, it feels like he's talking to me when he says that. Like anyway, doesn't matter. Um, I also have Use Me by Bill Withers. Ooh, I love this song. Yeah, always love that. Um, Cool Use in American Beauty. Again, canceled movie. Oh well. Um, Not the song I was thinking of, by the way, previously. We'll get to that at some point. Next, I have Superstition by Stevie Wonder. Oh, I know. It's not even top 10, but it is a banger. I know, you know it. I don't care. I don't care. All right. Tom picked Stairway to Heaven, so I can pick Superstition. Okay. My last honorable mention will be Do It Again by Steely Dan. Very cool song. Very good. Very, very good. All right, let's get into it. Number 10. Ooh, these are all so good. Okay. Number 10. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are gonna maybe you didn't even listen to this. I'm going with The Harder They Come by Jimmy Cliff. This is yes, it is a reggae song. Listen, Tom, all right? I know Wales is far from Jamaica, but listen, this is a great track of fighting for your right. And there's like these biblical references throughout that kind of emphasize the disregard to the living that some people have. And Jimmy doesn't care. He's going to take what's his while he can. And it's like a feel good, confident protest song. And it's incredible. I love the drums. I love the overall sound. It's phenomenal. The harder they come, the harder they fall. One and all. Okay, Jimmy Cliff. Thank you, Jimmy. Number 9, I'm going Highway Star by Deep Purple. No one mentioned Deep Purple. I'm hoping you do in songs because holy shit, these guys are way cooler. I mean, look, I already talked about them, I think, hopefully before. I think I did. But um, I don't know. Growing up, it was like, Smoke on Water was just like a meme. And so it was really hard for me to ever kind of take them seriously. But I'm so glad that I've had an opportunity to properly sit down and listen to them because I mean, you got to put some respect on this jam. I mean, the solos, I mean, it's phenomenal. It is incredible. So sorry, it's only number 9, but Highway Star any day. Love that. Goes extra hard in the car, of course. Number 8. Number 8 will be Telegram Sam. Yeah, and lots of love on this record. That's T-Rex, by the way. So you have Telegram. My number 8 is Telegram Sam by T-Rex. Okay. There's a lot to love on this record. And the thing is, Telegram Sam, he's my main man. So I love the delivery from Mark. I think it's just really cool. Yeah, I love how he just sing to me, Mark. All right, number 7. Enough of that. Number 7 is gonna be Shine a Light by the Rolling Stones. Like I mentioned, it's a double record, right? So there's a bunch of great tracks on here, and several bangers. I could have picked probably a few from this and been pretty happy with it in my top 10, but this one stands pretty tall to me. Apparently it's about founding member Brian Jones and issues he had with the band, and then he was kicked out of the band, and like a couple weeks later he died. That's crazy. They really saw the writing on the wall there, huh? Anyway, they wrote a song about him, and that's cool. And it's very like it comes off as like this very kind of bittersweet but triumphant eulogy, and mostly it's just a really great tune. So Shine a Light, yeah, awesome. Number 6 will be 13 by Big Star. Yeah, what can I say? I'm in love with this song. I've always loved this song, and it's like deceptively simple, but the acoustic lines are just gorgeous. And I love the way, I think it's Alex Chilton, hangs on the take and make that whole thing. It's beautiful. It's like innocent enough. And it's just great. It's awesome. So that's 13. My number 5 is going to be Lottery Song by Harry Nilsson. I know I didn't mention so much Nilsson, but Lottery Song is so good. And I've talked at decent length about this song with you very too, this very forum. You guys already know, but I just love this notion of spinning the wheel of fortune with someone you love and taking a chance on love and life and everything. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful one, and you get plenty of the onomatopoeia, lose, and I don't know, just Harry Nelson shit. Okay, number 4. Ooh, these are so tough to rank. These top 4 were brutal for me, so I want you to understand that. My number 4 is going to be Perfect Day by Lou Reed. Yeah, oh Lou, what can I say about you? This song in particular really reminds me of like a song off of the Velvet Underground, that record. Because it's kind of like this gorgeous pop song about like a lovely day with presumably a lover, and then there's this notion that maybe these kinds of days are all this person is hanging by, like a very fine thread, and they're not a good person at all. They're not really a protagonist. So maybe that was Lou Reed. Maybe he was kind of a piece of shit, but he had some perfect days and wrote some perfect music, in my opinion. And then you get like these kind of John Cale strings. I don't know if he helped on this record, but this song kind of sounds like it because it comes in really strong, and this coda of you're gonna reap what you sow. I mean, it's just beautiful, ominous, a little bit dark, and that's peak Lou for me. Yeah, that's what I look for in Lou Reed. Thank you, Lou. Number 3. Excuse me, number 3. I've been talking too much. Bronze Medal. Yeah. Bronze Medal is it's just Ziggy Stardust. It's just Ziggy Stardust. Yeah. It's I explained a bit about this song in the Hunky Door video, which you should watch. Actually, maybe you did. That did it okay, actually. Nice, Tom. Nice marketing. But this song in particular, yeah, I discovered it from Guitar Hero. Okay. I don't want any comments about that, but it's always been like quintessential Bowie to me, from being like an early, discovery. And the riff, the little guitar flares throughout, the way David Bowie says spiders, I don't know. It's a very cool song, both in and out of context of the record. Ziggy played guitar. Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, he can do what he wants. All right. Uh, Silver Medal is Close to the Edge by Yes. Yes. Yeah. Now that's a prog epic. Now I know I already talked about it, and the other 2 songs on the record are great. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but it is a little hard to separate the title track from the record, because this is, holy smokes. I don't have a whole lot else to say. Incredible performances throughout. Shame on me for not appreciating this sooner. I have gained a lot of respect for Yes, especially the Yes album and this record. So, okay. So number 1, of course, had to be, right? It's Old Man. Yeah, by Neil Young. It's Old Man. No, it's not Heart of Gold. Come on. What do you think I am? No, that's a good one though, for sure. um, Harvest is not my favorite Neil Young record, but Old Man could be. I don't know if it's better than Don't Let It Bring You Down, but it's so good. It's absolutely timeless. And he wrote it when he was quite young, which is hard to fathom now that I'm older than he, and I haven't written anything this poetic or beautiful. So what am I doing? I'm just talking about him. That sucks. All right. Well, anyway, despite my existential crisis mid conversation. He wrote it about the foreman or land guy that came with the property, the ranch that he bought in Northern California. And it's just incredibly poetic, longing, and uh, it's perfect. It's great. It's what I think of when I think of this record. You see the cover, and I just get that feeling of longing and poetry that Neil does so brilliantly. So there you have it. That's 1972. Great year.
Nice list.
Thanks. It's perfect.
Uh,
All right. Vanessa's turn. No small talk.
yeah, no small talk here. Yeah.
All right. So my honorable mentions are in no particular order, as always. The first one I will mention is Keith Cross and Peter Ross in Fly Home, which it's been so great to have this album properly on streaming this time around. Like, it's made such a difference to actually be able to like revisit all the songs and like really focus on them. That's made a huge difference. There's probably 4 songs I considered, but this is my favorite. Lou Reed and Perfect Day is my next honorable mention. Supernaut by Black Sabbath. Go All the Way by the Raspberries, and Reelin' in the Years by Steely Dan. It was tough. I had to cut a lot. You'll see. It was sad, but these are my 10. Number 10 is Love Train by the OJs. Just such an infectious and joyful song. It always makes me smile and lifts my spirits every time I hear it. All the instrumentation and vocals are perfect, and the song always reminds me of the summer for whatever reason. It's just great, just a bop. It's often considered one of the first disco songs, and you can see the roots of that, but it also still sounds fresh and exciting, as it probably did when people first heard it in 72. Number 9 is I think it was my favorite Harry Nilsson song, or it was up there. You're Breaking My Heart. So I talked about it in the video. As I mentioned, I love the irreverence and the spite in this song, and ultimately it's just so much fun. Plus it's catchy and memorable. And not too much else to say about it, just great. And I love his attitude on it. It's a great song. Number 8 is Song for Adam by Jackson Browne. This song is absolutely beautiful and heartfelt. I love the guitar, the melody, the subtle strings, but it's also impossible not to get wrapped up in the lyrics of the song. On the surface, it appears to be about an old friend taking his life, but I did some more reading about it, and I learned it's often thought about as being a larger statement about his life's journey, and it just adds a whole new level to the song, which is really cool. And regardless, it's a gorgeous song, one I fell in love with when I was doing my 72 deep dive, and I've continued to listen to it regularly since. Number 7 is Rabbit Fighter by T-Rex. This song feels so epic with the addition of strings and the acoustic and electric guitar working together. I have no idea what any of it really means, but I'm convinced to support the cause of the Rabbit Fighter when I hear it. So, as often is the case, I love how Mark Bolan sells all of this. Like Chris was saying, you could listen to him sing just about anything, which is great. His vocals are awesome here. So that's number 7. Number 6, which I feel like it's low for this artist, but it's just how this list fell. It's my Stevie Wonder pick, and I ultimately went with I Believe When I Fall in Love with You, It Will Be Forever. With 2 amazing albums worth of great songs to choose from this year, Stevie made it a difficult task to pick just one song, but this is the one I was feeling the most this week. I love how the song starts fairly subtly and then slowly builds with each chorus until that little funky breakdown at the end, which you just totally don't even expect in this beautiful love song. Stevie's vocals are on point as always, and the song always gets stuck in my head. Number 5 is my Neil Young pick, going with Harvest, which on an album full of classic songs, this has always been my favorite song. It's a beautiful song. Love the way that Neil Young sings it, and it's subtle but powerful in its beauty. And I love the way everything comes together to make it a perfect song. Like I had a hard time coming up with what I wanted to say about it, but just love it. Number 4 is Couldn't I Just Tell You by Todd Rundgren. It's another album where it's difficult to pick just one song from, but I managed. For a long time, Hello, It's Me would have been my pick because that was the first song by him that I ever knew and loved. But there is so much else to love on this album. And this song has become a favorite. It's a perfect power pop gem, and I can never get sick of it. It's become a staple of my listening in general, not just for 72. Like many of my favorites, it's absolutely infectious and catchy. Pretty well everything about it is perfect. It's number 4. Number 3 is Highway Star by Deep Purple. An absolutely killer song that I also can never get sick of, and predictably a great song to listen to while driving, is what just like Chris said, which I did several times this past week. Of course, the heaviness and the guitar is really cool in this song, but that organ is awesome too. Like I really focused in on that when I was listening this week, and just fantastic. And that's not necessarily an element you would consider for a heavy song like this, but it's essential to what makes this song great. It's a really cool blend of classical influences with heavier music of that time, like just very forward thinking. Number 2 is Give Me Another Chance by Big Star. Another easy choice, as it's long been my favorite on that album. I love everything about the way it sounds, and it always draws me in on an album full of songs that I already love. Lyrics and instrumentation are pretty simple, especially at the beginning of the song, but it's Alex Chilton's vocals and the harmonies that make it extra special. And I love how it builds up with the addition of the mellotron and the electric piano kind of sneaking in near the end. Just beautiful song. And number 1 could be no other, and that is 5 Years by David Bowie. Easy number 1. And as they said in the album's video, possibly one of my favorite album openers ever. I will never forget the first time I heard it. It was before I even heard the album. I think it was on a list of great songs I read when I was in college. And I just remember hearing it and being blown away by it, just immediately. And it's been a favorite song ever since. I've heard it so many times and can never get sick of it. I love it in the context of the album and on its own. It's just so epic. I love how it builds to that absolutely satisfying refrain of 5 years. And Bowie just sells every second with his vocals. And I guess I probably heard it hundreds of times at this point, and it's always just as satisfying as the first time. So,
all right, nice one. Yeah,
Brilliant list, fantastic list. And I'm saying this because it's another year without a trifecta, unfortunately. And I have a load in common with Chris and absolutely nothing with Vanessa.
That seems to be common.
Yeah, I don't know. Me and Chris best friends. Yeah. Sorry, third wheeling over there in Canada.
That's how we do it.
But yeah, there were some tough cuts. I did have Never Before from Deep Purple as an honorable mention. So I did. Highway Star was the only trifecta that was on, and that wasn't even my favorite from that album. But Never Before didn't even make my honorable mentions. So here are my honorable mentions. This is a bit of a strange one you might not be expecting. Tumbling Dice by the Rolling Stones. Here I am, keep saying I don't like the Rolling Stones, and this is the third time they've come up for songs. This is my favorite Rolling Stones album, and probably my second favorite Rolling Stones song, because I said She's a Rainbow is my favorite, and now I don't want to backtrack on that. 14 for me, maybe even less expected, by Creedence Clearwater Revival, Someday Never Comes, from their much hated album Mardi Gras, which is not good. I think it's my second worst. It might be my worst of the year, but it has Someday Never Comes, which is like, the whole album is basically John Fogerty giving the other people a chance to write songs out of spite, knowing that they couldn't do it. And then he's like, well, I'll write one song and it's going to be Someday Never Comes. It's going to be one of the best things I ever wrote. So, casually. I think it's so good. It's so sort of melancholic. A lot has been said about how it sort of how it references like the feel of a lot of classic literature in its sort of sentiment. And yeah, the whole idea of like, you know, keep talking about someday, but someday never comes. It's very relatable. 13, Last Ocean Rider by Keith Cross and Peter Ross. I referred to this. This is so good. 7 minutes. It's like the song sort of ends and then like this steel guitar comes in and it's just like this cacophony of just jamming for the last 3 minutes. So good. So good. My number 12, Virginia Plain by Roxy Music. Shout out Chris, resident Roxy Music lover. Number 11, Supernaut by Black Sabbath. I'm glad that Vanessa also loves it. But my actual list. Can't believe Sabbath didn't make the list. That hurt. That hurt so bad. But my number 10 is Steely Dan with Only a Fool Would Say That, narrowly beating out Reeling in the Years. But yeah, Only a Fool Would Say That is so cool. I love the bossa nova rhythm of it. It is very spiteful. It's very ballsy on your debut album to call out John Lennon. It's like that's about as ballsy as it gets, really. And it's really melodic. The chorus is just amazing. Yeah, great song. Pretty much epitomizes what I love about their debut album. My number 9 is the Raspberries. They had a great year. They had a really good album and also another album that has a great single on it. I almost went with Go All the Way, but I went in the end with I Want to Be With You, pure power pop goodness. I love the way he sings this so bad. It's like, oh my God. It's like he sounds like he's gonna like pass out or something. Anyone who likes power pop, 70s pop, 60s pop even, it sort of feels a bit like a throwback style to like the Beatles and stuff. It's just an instant earworm. I don't know how it wasn't as big a hit as Go All the Way, but you know, it's great. Number 8 is Todd Rundgren, or Rod Tundra, which I've gone with It Wouldn't Have Made Any Difference. This is not actually my favorite Todd Rundgren album. That's coming later. But I think this is maybe his best song. It's definitely one of his best ever slow ballads. It's just so good. The melody is impossibly good. And it comes right after I Saw the Light as well. As a 1-2 punch to open an album, it's absurd. The production is dreamy. Pretty sure he plays every instrument, which is equally crazy. Yeah, one of the all-time greats. Only number 8. Number 7, surprised I'm the first one mentioning this song, but it is a stacked album. I've got Metal Guru by T-Rex. I mean, come on. How do you open an album better than with that scream and then just straight into that sort of wall of sound bounce of this album? It's easily, like, not even close, my favorite T-Rex song. I love it. It's also greatly inspired, I think, Panic by the Smiths as well. I don't think that's official, but they're quite similar. And yeah, it's just like the perfect album opener. As soon as you hear the album for the first time, you're like, okay, I'm in. Yeah, I'm in, 100%. Number 6 is the first of many matches with Chris, is The Lottery Song by Harry Nilsson, of course. One of his most tender songs. Love the vocal layering, so dreamy. You touched on the lyrics. I think they're great too. Piano from Nicky Hopkins, who, God, he was just getting around everywhere at this point. He was working with the Kinks, he was working with the Who on all their big albums. And then he just plays piano on this album as well. I think the piano is a real highlight of it. Yeah, it's just so good, so melodic, and just perfect. Number 5 is 13 by Big Star. It's just incredible. It's kind of an annoying thing when somebody else has already talked about the songs you want to talk about, but the acoustic guitar is dreamy and the part is perfect. And I think Chris Bell is okay. I think the problem for me is that he's always in comparison with Alex Chilton, and he has one of my favorite voices in music. Like, oh my God, he is just an angel. It's this perfect picture of teen love. I love the way he delivers Would You Be an Outlaw for My Love? That's just so good. Every line is perfect. Every line is iconic to people who know the song. You know, it's like this sort of indie darling song, and it is just incredible. Yeah. Now we have a bit of, as Chris would say, a mastermind moment. My number 4 is "Perfect Day" by Lou Reed. A song with many meanings, to the point where I wrote down like 3, and the interpretation Chris took was not one of them. But I think Lou himself has sort of admitted that it's like a love song to heroin. But I think you can also like take it as a celebration of love, like an earnest sort of like, yeah, I guess that's sort of similar to what Chris is saying, is like that's all you've got to live for, right? But then I think it's also like, I don't know, a part of me this time hearing it is like, is it like a sarcastic declaration of the mundanity of love? It's like the way it's like, and then later a movie too, and then home. It's like so robotic. It's like he doesn't care. Doesn't sound enthusiastic at all. I don't know. It's like this sort of almost like sarcastic. Like, that's the thing with Lou Reed's vocal delivery, right? You just never really know. But like, regardless of the meaning, the arrangement from, I think it's Bowie and Mick Ronson who did the arrangements on this album, is just incredible. It's just one of the best songs of all time. Like, it's just so perfect. And the outro, like, "You're going to reap just what you sow," sort of hints at that sort of darker side to the song, which is great. So it's like that perfect balance between being cryptic and being meaningful, in a lyrical sense. My number 3 is Jackie Wilson Said, "I'm in Heaven When You Smile" by Van Morrison. Come on, this is just 3 minutes of pure distilled, bottled up joy. Like, if this was sold at the supermarket, I would drink it. He's clearly so into it, and the energy you can feel in the room is palpable. The rhythm guitar part is so cool, and the horns are just amazing. How it starts with him like scatting, and then the horns come in, and it just like swings straight into it. I challenge you to find somebody who does not like this song, because if they don't, then they probably have no fun in their life. It's just instantly puts a smile on my face, and yeah, great way to open the. A lot of album openers on my list. That's going to continue with another mastermind moment. "Close to the Edge" by Yes is my number 2. Angelic, beautiful, moving, and epic. To me, the greatest prog song of all time. There's so many individual moments that are catchy and emotionally impactful, which, you know, is something you can't really take for granted in prog. You don't really find many prog songs that tug at your heartstrings, and this one really does. It just gets me every time. John Anderson simply cannot be human. His voice is something else. It is a spiritual experience for me, and I'm not a very deeply spiritual person, but every time I listen to it, it is like taking me somewhere else and feeling everything. And it's, I don't know, there's something, I talked about this in the Anatomy of a Classic video with Clay and Tavi, like lyrically, it's sort of like straddling that line between simple emotion, like really complex, like philosophical ideas, and like the idea that there's one section where lyrics just, "I get up, I get down." It's like, yeah, we do. We do get up and we get down, you know? And yeah, it's incredible. I could talk about it all day, but I won't. And my number 1, of course, you know, it's by David Bowie, but which song have I picked? I may have fibbed a little bit, because my number 1 is also 5 Years. We're sharing that at number 1. On Some Days, my favorite Bowie song, one of the first Bowie songs that I remember like truly blowing my mind. Like, God, I used to listen to this podcast called Velocities in Music, which is a big part of what got me into music, got me into Bowie, Radiohead, Blur, Ween, loads of different artists. And I remember they did like a deep dive of Bowie's discography, and they were like talking about Ziggy Stardust, and they were like, yeah, Starman's great, yeah, Moon Age Daydream is great, but like 5 years is the shit. And then I went away straight away to listen to it, and as soon as like that fading in drum part is like, this is something else. And now I know every word of the song. It's anthemic, and nothing beats the catharsis of that 5 years chorus. It's like, oh my God, it's just amazing. And again, it's like, how is this not one of his most well-known songs? I don't really understand. It's like, obviously, like, it's not like it's not well known. Anyone who's heard the album agrees that it's one of the best songs on the album. But like, how is this not getting as much radio play as Starman, as Life on Mars? Like, It deserves it. It's catchy. It's anthemic. It's emotional. It's perfect. It's 5 years. It's my and Vanessa's song of the year for 1972. So there we are.
Yeah, when you said no matches, and I was like, 5 years though. Like,
Well, I just forgot about number
it's
one.
true.
That one doesn't matter. Yeah, no, it was. I did just forget, and I was playing it off as being a prankster. I've given it all away now. So next up, we've got 1973. I don't know yet if it's going to be the week after this. Summer is always busy for all of us, so if we are taking weeks off, don't worry. We're committed to this project, and we are gonna see it out to the end if it takes us 5 years.
Wow, jeez, I hope not.
I hope it doesn't take 5 years either, but it wouldn't be a surprise. I'm gonna stop now. Anyway, yeah. So let us know what your favorite songs of 1972 are. Do you prefer Old Man or 5 Years? Let us know. We'd love to know. And yeah, hopefully in 1973 we'll actually get a song trifecta, but I'm not holding out any hope, to be honest. It was like we had White Rabbit, we just sort of split off into our different paths now. Because we always share artists, it's just never the same songs. But yeah, that's the nature of this. Eventually it's going to happen. You'd hope.
It
But
will.
yeah, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we will catch you very soon for 1973.